I am just positively shocked that it has taken me this long to return to and update the channel's information surrounding Vault Goats, everyone. As not only do they boast a refreshed set of spawning and herd mechanics, the number of crafts and recipes that they once led us to has all but doubled since the last time we slashed some goat throats. So grab your rain hats, folks. We're going hunting. After we find our oasis deserts, that is, as Vault Goats cannot and will not spawn anywhere else. At least not naturally, I should say. But how well will their natural numbers look once we do find them, you ask? Pretty low, I imagine. However, I also wouldn't be surprised to find 2, maybe even 3 herds separately. So once you factor in how Vault Goats mate every 1.5 to 2 days, things will also start looking up pretty quick. Be mindful though, like Beefalo, there must be at least 1 Vault Goat alive in order to potentially expand the herd, so don't get all murder happy quite yet. I'd also keep a pretty watchful eye on your herds too, as they do tend to wander over time. But don't fret if they happen to do so into dangers, as we've got a new way to renew these guys. Hunts. Not just any hunts though. Hunts within a spring rain, and one that has originated within the oasis desert specifically, mind. All 3 of these factors must be met, but if they are, we have an incredibly high, if not guaranteed chance at spawning a charged Vault Goat at the end of said hunts. It's good stuff. But do bear in mind that you have just spawned a much more aggressive and slightly more powerful version of a Vault Goat, so you might want to keep your distance for a couple days while it uncharges. Or just leave it be for a long while to help allow the fresh herd to grow. As yes, every Vault Goat hunt now equates to an entirely new Vault Goat herd in this game. Make notes. And with all that important stuff out of the way, we might as well get into Vault Goats themselves, yes. At 700 health, 25 base damage, and a very skittish nature, we won't exactly be running them down for an easy kill anytime soon. But with a ranged weapon in hand, the situation can kick off pretty quick. Thankfully, Vault Goats are not horde-like, so we will only be fighting one at a time here, and as long as you remember to dodge their headbutt while following up with 2 hits yourself, you should be golden. Alternatively, however, one can wait until the cover of night to slice and dice at will, as the goats do sleep, as you can see. Now, this method even allows us to get 4 free hits in before they wake for even faster kills, so take advantage for sure. But hold up, Beard. What's the deal with them charged Vault Goats you keep mentioning? Can we make our own? And does the kiting change with them? Yes to both of those questions. Any electrical damage dealt to goats charges them, and charged Vault Goats will now be shocking to the touch, requiring the use of clothing like the umbrella or rain hat line to counter it. Good luck, and get that milk. But before we move on to exactly that, let us remember how WX78 players can not only scan Vault Goats with Jimmy nowadays, but need said milk to construct their electrification circuits too. Circuits that deal 30 damage each to whatever hits WX, but 50 damage if that thing happens to be wet. And yes, while electrified goats will not charge WX, WX can charge Vault Goats. Have fun. But what about the rest of us, Beard? What's our prize for herding goats? Well, Vault Goat horns 25% of the time, I suppose, and or electric milk 100% of the time, if the goats happen to be charged. That's what. Now, electric milk won't be doing much on its lonesome, nor should you ever really drink it straight up. However, WX78 players do make an appearance here again, as they do actually have another use for the stuff in individual charges. So drink up, or turn the stuff into ice cream instead, as the choice is yours. Milk combined with ice and sweetener offers us a major sanity food alongside some temperature control, as you can see. However, brain freezes are not the only crockpot dishes that milk provides us nowadays. Milk-made hats have also been introduced since last we spoke, so if you got the nostrils and kelp, enjoy 187.5 hunger over 4 minutes while this sanity-reducing hat, at least for non-work players, is atop your noggin, I guess. But there is no second-guessing this next guy, folks. Vault Goat jelly. As with the milk gone, we turn our attention to Vault Goat horns, and they can go into a food item that can instantly increase our damages by 50 to 150% depending on the wetness stage of the targets. And by the way, it also does so for over half a day. Need I say more? Combine it with spices for even crazier DPS, and just enjoy melting mobs in seconds. The Morningstar is next though, requiring a horn, 2 electrical doodads, and 2 pieces of niter to create, and it's a unique melee weapon that deals 43.3 damage per hit, 72.2 if the target is wet mined, provides light, and only loses durability when held instead of through combat, so use it regularly against tentacles, merms, and depth worms for sure. And lastly, weather panes. We will have to have found and killed several Miskis and their demon spawns in order to wield a couple, however I really wouldn't think of them as weapons in this regard. They are more a tool to use in combat over something to use to fight things in combat. The tornadoes they spawn are inconsistent, and they're almost useless on any mob that actually moves, which is most mobs, so we really only fire them to do work on trees, rocks, structures, toadstools, spore caps, the fuel weaver's minions, and even on the Crab King to slow his healing nowadays. But you do you. But before we go, I would like to showcase one last thing. Moving Volt Goat herds. It is a painstaking process, as the goats must be pushed in whatever direction you are going little by little, otherwise their actual spawning locations will not change. But it is a thing we can do if we don't want to head to the desert every now and then. Now I recommend letting the goat hop 3 times before backing off, mind, and if done correctly, you will be able to continue to grow herds most anywhere. Now I understand that this is also a part of how some create automatic Volt Goat farms nowadays, but with the ability to create multiple herds per spring, I really do not see the point in that, honestly. Which is exactly why I'm not going to show it. Besides, many others have, so if you really do want to set this up, then go for it. But folks, there you have it, an updated and revisited guide on Volt Goats within Don't Starve Together. Now to most, I imagine there was nothing too shocking here, but even still, the years have been very kind to these guys, so a refresher was more than necessary. Thanks for watching, everyone. Well wishes to all, go bonk some baz, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.